The LEGO Vending Machine set that released on June 1st, 2025 gave us some amazing minifigures, including two brand new castle factions, the Griffin Knights and the Kraken Knights. And that got me thinking, what if LEGO released a vending machine set filled only with castle and fantasy figures? Well, here's my take on it. I've made 20 figures in total, and we're going to go through them all one by one. But before we do, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers, and there's plenty more LEGO Castle videos on the way. Now let's get started. Just like normal, we're going to insert the coin and twist the handle to release our first pair of figures. And the first pair we're looking at are the King and Queen of the series. I haven't decided what faction they belong to yet, maybe the Lion Knights or the Griffin Knights. Let's start with the King. He's built from a mixture of dark red parts. His torso comes from Dane Ironfoot from the Lord of the Rings sets, and his legs are from the Conquistador CMF figure, and I've added a dark red cloak to match the rest of his clothes. His head and crown piece are from the King and the new Horse Knight Castle set, but I gave him this big brown beard which fits perfectly with the hairpiece. For his accessory, he wields a silver longsword. Every king needs one. And of course, no king is complete without a queen. She sports a darker blonde hairpiece with a golden tiara. Her torso and legs are from some different versions of Dumbledore in my collection, and I really love the printing on the back of her skirt piece. For her accessory, I've given her a golden goblet, which is fit for a royal. For our second pair, we have a Lion Knight Commander and a Spearman. These are from the LEGO Kingdoms Lion Knights line, which personally, I think has a much nicer design than the current Lion Knights you can buy. What do you guys think? The Commander is decked out head to toe in armour, and I'm really happy with how he's turned out. I've added a helmet with a visor, and to top it off, I've added a red feather to tie it into that classic red and white colour scheme. As you can see, his breastplate proudly displays the lion insignia, and if we remove it, you can see some amazing printing on the torso underneath. For his accessories, he wields a longsword and carries a large shield. Moving on to the Spearman. I found these legs in my LEGO collection, and I thought they fit perfectly. All he really needs is some arm printing for it to be flawless. He wears a silver kettle helm and is armed with a spear and a triangular shield. Up next we have some entertainment for our medieval characters. On the left there's a jester, and on the right we have a bard. This jester comes from the 12th collectible minifigure series, and I love the cross pattern on his torso. I just wish it continued onto the back of the figure as well as his arms and legs. For his accessories, I swapped out the playing cards for some juggling balls, which are simply made with some stud pieces. I think it would make for some great amusement for his audience. And to serenade the royal halls, we have the bard. To achieve this look, I made him from a mixture of different pieces. His torso is from the Viking Village set, and his legs are from the fan favourite goat herder. I added this narrow cape from a Mandalorian figure, which I think works brilliantly for medieval characters, so I definitely recommend using these if you have some. And of course, no bard is complete without an instrument. He wields a lute from the elf bard in the Dungeons & Dragons CMF series. Our next pair comes from the ferocious wolf pack. On the left we have the warrior queen, and on the right we have a berserker. The warrior queen is a wild looking figure. Her torso comes from the medieval town square set, and her arms are taken from the wolfpack beastmaster figure. Her legs are from this old barbarian. I chose these so the third leg printing matches the custom fur cloak I've given her, which I picked up at a LEGO event earlier this year. She wears a messy hairpiece and is armed with a short axe and a wolfpack shield. The berserker also uses some CMF parts, including the wolfpack beastmaster's legs and black fur coat. I've had this torso laying around for some time as I've been waiting for the right figure to use it on, and I think it works perfectly here. I love how the armour design continues from the chest to the shoulder and even wraps around the back of the torso. He comes armed with a short sword and a small axe, and he's ready to fight off any enemy that crosses his path. Our fifth set of figures is made up of two magic users. We have an old wizard and his young apprentice, and honestly this is one of my favourite pairs I've made for this video. So here's a closer look at our wizard. His legs, torso and cloak all come from the McGonagall minifigure. I'm not too sure where I got this all-in-one hair and beard piece from. If any of you recognise it, comment down below. Every wizard needs a staff, so I took a dark tan bar piece, found a minifigure hand in the same colour, and added it to the top to give the staff a more natural wooden look. Now moving on to the wizard's apprentice, I gave him a blue torso with dark red short legs. I think it really sells that wizard in training vibe I'm going for. And since he's the apprentice, he of course has to carry all of their supplies in this huge rucksack. Along with his blue torso, he also has a blue hood piece. And for his accessories, he's got a short staff he hasn't quite mastered casting spells with yet. And as a part of his latest magical assignment, he's been tasked with creating a potion. Our next pair of figures belong to the fan favourite faction, the Raven Knights. And to represent them, we've got a ranger and a crossbowman. Let's start with the ranger. He uses the same torso and legs from the tournament night. I haven't changed it at all because honestly, that combo just can't be improved. And to fit his ranger look, I've given him a dark red cloak that matches his gloves and belt, and instead of a helmet, I've used one of my favourite hair pieces at the moment. It's from a Sirius Black minifigure, and it looks incredible on medieval figures. And for his accessories, he carries a short sword in dark grey, and of course the iconic Raven Knight shield. And now onto the crossbowman. His body is the same as the Rangers, but instead of a cloak, he's equipped with a quiver and a dark grey kettle helm. And we can't forget about his crossbow. I love how menacing this guy looks. He's definitely someone you wouldn't want aiming at you from the castle walls. Next up, we've got some of our more mythical figures in this set. On the left we have a centaur, and on the right we have an elven guard. Let's take a look at the centaur first. The horse half of his body comes from the Series 21 CMF centaur, and the human torso actually comes from another mythical figure, which is the fawn from Series 15. I chose that torso because it blends the fur and skin together seamlessly. Any Star Wars fans out there will instantly recognise this hairpiece that belongs to Qui-Gon Jinn, and I've attached a quiver of arrows to the side here. To go with that, he carries a longbow, which makes sense since that extra height would give him a serious advantage against any human opponents. And now for the Elven Guard. This figure is made up of pieces from all over the place, but I think they all come together perfectly to bring this character to life. This torso is from the same centaur figure we just looked at, whilst the legs come from one of the elves in the Lord of the Rings sets, and honestly, they look amazing paired together. This hairpiece with the pointed ears is from the elf CMF figure from Series 3, and it still holds up brilliantly today. For his accessories, he's armed with this golden elvish blade, which you can actually find across a ton of different LEGO sets. And to finish off the look, we're giving him the shield from the Forest Maiden. Next up, we've got some medieval villagers, or peasants. It depends on what noble lord you're talking to. This is a husband and wife duo I've created to bring a bit of everyday life to the series. Starting off with the male villager, he's made with some pretty simple parts, but that's exactly the look I was going for. On his back, he's got a large bag for carrying food and supplies from the farm, and for his headgear, he wears this classic brown hood piece, which LEGO really needs to bring back. It's the perfect piece for a medieval peasant. For his accessories, he's armed with a pitchfork and a torch, just in case he and the rest of the villagers ever feel like overthrowing the monarchy. Though, let's be honest, they probably won't get very far. Now onto the female villager. She's got a dark green torso paired with these dark orange legs, which I borrowed from the Elf Bard minifigure. She has a long hair piece of medium nougat and comes with a broom as her accessory. Our second to last pair of figures are from one of my other favourite factions. We have a bear knight as well as an archer. The Frightening Knight is the official name of the original figure, and honestly, it's a crime that LEGO hasn't released this faction in a proper castle wave yet, but never say never. My custom bear knight is very similar to the official one, but with a few changes. He's wearing a large shoulder armour piece in dark grey, which matches the grill helmet I've given him, and for a bit of decoration, I've added a green feather to the top. He wields the silver longsword and the incredible shield piece with the bear sigil on the front. Now for the archer, he uses the same torso and legs as the knight, but comes equipped with a quiver of arrows on his back. He's also rocking this green hood piece, which helps give him that extra bit of camouflage whenever he's on lookout duties in the forest. And to stay silent and unseen, he relies on his trusty bow as his main weapon. And last but not least, we of course have to include some villains in this set. We've got a necromancer and his reanimated skeleton warrior. The necromancer was once a student of the old wizard, but he became corrupted after discovering an ancient book of dark spells. The dark magic permanently changed his eyes to red, so he now hides his face beneath this hood. He wears these long dark robes, and for some extra texture, I added a black shoulder piece. It really gives him that sinister and powerful look. This is the evil spell book from which he learned all sorts of forbidden magic. One of those spells allows him to conjure fire and use it as a weapon against his enemies. And with this growing dark power, he's begun resurrecting fallen soldiers, just like the skeleton warrior we see here. He was once a fallen hero from long ago, but he's now been brought back to do the necromancer's bidding. The figure itself is a skeleton from the old Ninjago sets I had as a kid, and the helmet and chest plate come from the Evil Knight CMF. I chose these pieces as they're super versatile for castle style figures. And to complete his look, I gave him this massive scythe forged by the necromancer. It's a weapon that sends fear through the bones of anyone who dares to face him. And there we have it, 20 custom minifigures that make up the LEGO vending machine that castle fans really wanted. I had such a blast creating these figures and putting this lineup together. I tried to include a variety of different characters, including some factions we're all desperate to see return. My aim was to make sure every single figure feels like one you'd be proud to add to your medieval LEGO collection. And I really wanted to capture everything that makes LEGO Castle feel so special. If there's anything you think I missed or something you'd love to see added, make sure to leave your ideas down in the comments. I can't wait to read them all. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and tell me which figure was your favourite. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. We're so close to my goal of 1,000 subscribers, and it would mean the world if you joined the channel. I honestly can't believe how fast it's been growing, so thank you to everyone who's supported me so far. I really appreciate it. I've got so many more castle videos planned, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.